Finally, we reach to the last key process group here, which is closing process group. The closing process group marks the final phase in the project life cycle. As you could see here under the closing project or phase ensures that all of the project work is formally completed, deliverables are accepted, and stakeholders are aligned before transition transitioning into operation. According to PMI, this phase includes finalizing the administrative work, completing the contractual obligations, and documenting the lessons learned to improve the future projects. Closing is crucial because without it, project teams may face operational confusion, legal risks, and missed improvement opportunities. The importance of project closure process. So, project closure isn't just about marking the project as done. It ensures that all of the work completed to satisfy the stakeholders and formally accepted by the stakeholders. It also prevents the team members from being pulled into, let's say, undefined tasks or, let's say, unknown risks within the project itself. So, by also documenting the lessons learned, the future projects can also benefit from the past experiences, improving the efficiency and success rates. So the key consideration and the importance of the project closure, we say that it ensures all of the objectives has been met or have been met and deliverables accepted. Also, it confirms that all of the contracts and contracts and obligations are fulfilled. It prevents the scope creep by ensuring no unauthorized work continue post the closure. It also provides an opportunity for performance evaluation and lessons learned. The key PMI processes that is involved in project closing. PMI defines the close project or phase process as the formal process of finalizing the activities across the process groups to complete the project. This includes, let's say, verifying the deliverables, obtaining the stakeholder approvals, and ensuring the administrative closure. And without a structured closing process, the project teams may leave gaps in contract obligations or resource releases and knowledge transfer, which can lead to operational risks later. So these key process involved as PMI first is to close the project or phase by ensuring all of the deliverables are complete and formally accepted. Part of closing the project and phase is the final report generation, which summarize all of the project and performance, including the cost, the schedule, the outcomes, all of the which where it finalized the whole, let's say, project performance in terms of scope, risks, let's say, schedule. After that, you need to ensure that you have your lessons learned documented by capturing the insights for the future improvements. Finally, you need to have a contract closure. In case that you have procured or, let's say, contracted with any, let's say, supplier or vendor, you need to ensure that all of these contracts are closed by ensuring the vendors and suppliers meet the final obligations before the release. Here were the key steps for smooth transition from the execution to monitoring to closure. So transitioning from the monitoring and controlling or the execution to the closure requires a careful planning. Teams should ensure that all of the objectives are met and all of the required documentation is completed. Also, all of the contracts are finalized before considering the project closed. A clear transition plan helps in handing over the responsibilities to the operation teams, ensuring that there is no unfinished work remains. And this step also includes confirming that if there's any outstanding risks or open risks or issues has been addressed. And here are a sample of the steps that you need to follow to ensure the smooth transition. First, you need to confirm all of the project work is completed. Next, you need to verify all of the deliverables meet the acceptance criteria. After that, you need to conduct a final quality and performance review. Based on this review, you need to obtain a formal sign off from all of the stakeholders and finally release the project resource and close the financial accounts. And let's not forget the lessons learned register as part of this transition. Capturing the lessons learned before releasing the project resource and closing the financial accounts. And the role of stakeholders in project closure, which is a very important role. So, stakeholder involvement in project closure is essential to ensure a seamless transition from the project execution to operation. Each stakeholders play a specific role. For example, sponsors provide the final approvals, but the project managers oversee the closure activities and operation teams prepare for handover. So ensure that you have or you engage the stakeholders and the closure phase to help you avoid the confusion and ensures long-term project success. So again, these key stakeholders which is involved in the closure, including the project sponsor to approve all of the final project completion, project manager which ensures all of the deliverables are met and the administrative work is completed, the project team which completes the remaining task and hands over the documentation, and finally the operation team which takes the ownership of the project outputs. Some of these common challenges that you as a project manager might face when trying to close the project or face. Many projects struggles with the closure due to the last minute changes or missing documentation or stakeholder disagreements. To avoid these pitfalls, the project managers must ensure that all of the work is formally completed and accepted before dissolving the team. And this includes finalizing the contracts, resolving outstanding issues, and preparing necessary transition documents. So again, these potential issues that or challenges that you might face, lack of formal acceptance from the stakeholders, or unresolved defects or incomplete deliverables, the poor documentation which leads into knowledge gaps, finally the difficulties in closing contracts with the vendors. So ensure that you are avoiding to fall in these and having a risk mitigation or let's say an action plan to avoid falling into these issues. Here are the administrative closure activities. The administrative closure activities ensures that, or following these activities ensures that all of the project related records are, let's say, achieved or archived for the future use. And this includes updating the organizational assets with lessons learned, also the final cost data and performance reports. Without proper documentation, future projects may repeat the past mistakes. So key tasks which is involved at the administrative closure activities, including archiving the project documentation, updating the organizational process assets, which is known as the OPAs, completing the financial closure, conducting a final project review, and capture all of these lessons learned as part of the PMI process. Here are some of these benefits of having a proper project closure. Closing a project correctly ensures that all of the contractual, financial, and operational aspects are completed. This not only protects the organization from legal and financial risks, but also provides a structured knowledge base for future improvements. Again, these key advantages includes ensuring that there is no loose ends remain. Also, it improves the organization learning through lessons learned. What else we have? We have to by enhancing the credibility with the stakeholders and finally strengthening the compliance and financial accuracy. Some of these tools and techniques for effective project closure, including these checklists for the closure activities, project closure templates and reports as your organizational OPA. We also have the stakeholder surveys for the feedback, and finally, the lessons learned workshops to capture all of these lessons from the stakeholders, from the team. So, using a structured tools and templates helps the project managers to ensure that there is no critical closure steps are overlooked. PMI recommends leveraging the checklists, and stakeholder surveys, and formal reports to document the final project outcomes effectively. And to summarize our session on the first video on project closure or phase key process here, we say that by following the PMI structured closure approach, organizations can ensure a successful project completion, preventing the pending issues or non-ending issues and building a foundation for the future project improvements. We say that the closer process group is an important for the formal project completion, and without it, the project cannot be closed. We looked also at transitioning from the execution to closure, which must be well managed and maintained and documented to ensure that there is no last minute changes or, let's say, no unleft stakeholder requests are kept open. We also looked at the stakeholder involvement and we explained the importance of involving these stakeholders, which is crucial for the smooth project closure process. We also emphasize the importance of having a proper documentation to ensure the future project success.